You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Hello, and welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and today we're going to be talking about when we're uncertain of the future. I don't know about you guys, but for me, being legally blind, I wonder sometimes, will my vision get worse, or will there be a cure? For you, you might wonder, will I find the love of my life? Will I ever get that promotion? And we want to consider the future and not be scared of it, not be weary of it, but rather embrace it and really take a stand that what we want can come true. We just have to work towards it, get the support team in place to help us get there, but it can happen. Also, we're going to be taking your calls. Again, that number is 800-333-0001. Also, in our next segment, we're going to be joined by our inspirational guest, Herta Saunders. She's going to tell us about living with dementia and what that's like and how she puts plans in place to keep her on her path and not let the loss of her memory, predict or dictate her ability to go into the future. So stay with us there. Also, if you have questions on today's topic, feel free to reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. We completely want to make sure that you are supported during the show and beyond. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, how are you?
I am great. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
Hi, so recently in the past 2 or 3 months, I have been panicking and feeling anxious when I think about my future. So I could be sitting at home and then I start thinking about what's to come after college or my career path, and I just start panicking and then getting anxious. So I was just wondering how I could stop worrying about the future and kind of live in the present so it can relieve my anxiety.
Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge that anxiety is scary, right? It can be breathtaking, and it can lead to sleepless nights, and it's a very real, anxiety is real. It can hold you back. But I also want you to consider, have you ever taken a road trip and you used a map to find an address?
Yeah, I have taken a road trip.
Okay, or maybe you looked on a map, or maybe you looked on your phone, right? And there was a map there for you to look at. Sometimes in life, when we feel as though we're overwhelmed, we need a map for our life. So in the business world, people will create business plans. And in life, you can create your own business plan. You can also create a vision board of it, and you feel free to Google that for anybody listening, but a vision board is where you manifest, you put on like a poster board, pictures and images of what you want. And the thing is, the reason why I bring up a business plan, a map, and a vision board is that it's really important that when we go through times of anxiety, that we're able to have an anchor. Because if we let our mind run away from us, all the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and the what ifs, it'll gobble us up, right? Yeah. We need that anchor. We need that focus. So the other thing I want to make sure that you be aware of is taking on too much. Because when we feel overwhelmed and we're trying to do this and we're trying to do that, right? That's when all the balls are juggled in the air and we're afraid we're going to drop one. So I want you to simplify, breathe, relax. Okay? Really important. What is just one thing over the next couple of days that you want to accomplish? Just one.
Probably go to the gym at least 30 minutes every day.
Well, and that sounds really good, but let's even make an agreement that out of the next 2 days, can you work out 30 minutes one of those 2 days?
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes we want to be tempted to say 30 minutes every day, but that every day can just lead to that much more pressure. Strive for one day, 1 out of 2. Okay?
Okay.
And then what is a career goal that you have?
Well, I want to become a physical therapist after I graduate from college.
Okay. Perfect. So that's where I want you to network. I want you to put together that kind of business plan for getting to that career, what education, what internships, what part-time jobs may lead you there. Maybe put together a vision board, find someone who's in that occupation, cut their picture out of a magazine, put words up on this vision board, put a picture of yourself, and let yourself continue to manifest that. And whenever you're feeling anxious, look at that board. Remind yourself that this can come true. It's happened for others. Why not you? Right?
Yeah.
So if you do those, and there's a lot of other things you can do as well, but if you do those, I know that will help ease the anxiety, ease the stress. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely appreciate you calling in. And if you need any further support, definitely reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com, or because, again, for everybody listening, and I thank you for calling in on this topic, we want to minimize that stress and that anxiety. And that's by calling in today, by turning to friends and family. Support will help get you there. Okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good day. Thank you for calling in.
You too.
Really appreciate that. As we talk about today being uncertain of the future, I get that. The anxiety, the stress, the what if I don't make it? What if things don't work out? Am I wasting my time? That can overload us big time. So we want to make sure to put all of those anxieties in check. Are they real? Or what are things we can do to get ourselves to where we want to be? Now I'm getting word from our producer that we have another caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hello, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. What's going on today?
Basically, it's actually funny you saying about the whole anxiety thing, because this year is a very big year for me. Just graduated. I'm about to start my pro athletic year, and I have a lot to prove. Like last year, I did pretty well, but wasn't able to get the funding. So now it's hey, a bit of financial pressure and just making sure to prove I'm worth being looked at and having a future in the athletic business. So I just want to make sure that I do the best out of myself. So how do I make sure that I maintain bringing the best out of myself without not getting caught up in all the pressure of it all?
Great question. So always remember, you're already there. You're already there. So a lot of times when we feel the pressure of trying to prove ourselves and what if we don't hit that benchmark? What if we don't succeed? Tell yourself, I'm already there. I'm already there. And live in the moment. You're going to have, if you do athletics, as well as I do, you're going to have good physical days and days that are not as strong. So you have to isolate each day to the best of your ability. Don't think about next week anxieties today. Focus on today. Right. And if on that day, it's not a day that the financial you, the marketing you needs to be present, but it's the day that the athletic you needs to be present, then give that you all you got. Okay? But then on other days, you're going to be more required to step into that marketing hat, that financial way. And then you want to give your energy there. It's almost like you need to compartmentalize, isolate, almost take your whole being as a pie and slice yourself up, right? But nobody eats a whole pie in one setting, right? Maybe some people do. I have never sat down and ate a whole 16-inch pizza myself at one setting. I have never sat down and had a whole blueberry pie in one setting, right?
Yeah.
We eat a slice of pie, one piece at a time. And maybe on certain days when we're super hungry, you have 2 pieces, right? It's the same way in life. You don't need to eat, gobble up, do everything in one day. Think about what is the most urgent and go for that. And just like I told the last caller, have a business plan in place for yourself. Have those benchmarks, but also have a little give so on days when those unexpecteds come in, you're able to have that wiggle room. Can you do that?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds great.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah,
well,
that makes sense.
we will. Good. Well, we're going to wish you all the best. I have no doubt that you'll be successful in all that you do. And for everybody
so much.
listening, it's all about living full out. We'll be coming back right after this break. Most of all, think about the uncertainties that you have in your life. What are you most scared of? What are those what ifs? What are those regrets? And let's package those in a place to the side, in the past. Put them somewhere that won't hold you back from your future. We'll be right back after this break. I'm Nancy Solari. This is the Living Full Out Show. Stay with us.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Don't you wish that getting your child to eat right, move more, and spend less time in front of a screen could be as easy as pushing a button? It might not be that simple, but you do have more power than you know. And you can maximize that power with proven strategies, tips, and tools from the National Institutes of Health's We Can, or Ways to Enhance Children's Activity and Nutrition program. We Can offers all kinds of resources, including fun recipes and activities the family can do together to show you the way to live a healthier lifestyle. We're not saying it's easy. We are saying that it can be done. Take the first step today. Call 1-866-359-3226 for a free We Can Parents Handbook. And be sure to visit the We Can website at wecan.nhlbi.nih.gov for free information too. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition.
And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite. Look out! Look out! And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. With Nancy's expertise, you'll learn how to embrace your potential and strive for success. If you have a question or need further support, send us an email at connect@livingfullout.com. Now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us today. I am Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being uncertain of the future. And that can come with a lot of anxiety and worry. The woulda, coulda, shouldas, the what ifs, and just wondering how it's all going to unfold. Well, our inspirational guest today, Herta Saunders, she has her own layer of being uncertain about the future, currently living with dementia. She's going to share with us about that journey and how she has patience and calms herself down and does self-care on a daily basis to make sure that she is at peace with the future. So I'd very much like to welcome Herta to the show.
Hi, Nancy.
Hello, Herta.
Wonderful to speak with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have a lot of fans here at the Living Full Out Show. But I want to take our audience back a little bit because dementia is really scary. The idea of not having our memory and forgetting things and maybe over time forgetting people and places and all the things that we treasure. Can you share with us when you were first noticing signs, maybe not quite diagnosed, but when you started to recognize that something might be just a little bit off?
I noticed that there was something off at work and at home. I was then working at the University of Utah as an associate director of the Gender Studies program. And I had both administrative and teaching work to do there. And in one of my roles that year was to be the chair of a organization that arranged Women's Week at the university. And I went into the first meeting with a very well-written agenda because I knew I forgot things. But sometime in the meeting, my mind drifted off somewhere, and suddenly I came back into the present, and a guy was speaking, and I had no idea where we were in the meeting on my agenda. And so I just instinctively, just to say something, I said, let's just introduce ourselves. But as the words came out of my mouth, I realized that we already had gone around the table, which is, of course, embarrassing in a public setting and in an area where everybody is supposed to be able to just think on their feet.
Mm. Yeah, and I know that your family started to notice signs also because they're around you all the time, but there was a particular family gathering on Easter where, as a family, you had to start to recognize these changes. Can you share with us about that?
That's true. Yes. Well, my family knew, and I had noticed it by themselves, but about at that time, I started telling them that I'm really concerned about my memory loss. But for that Easter, I decided to make a casserole that I made the day before, and then I could just put it in the fridge and bake it the next day. And I did it because I cannot anymore in the moment sort of get a meal ready when there's people there. So when they came, we were all ready, and I set the table also ahead of time, and everybody sat down, and we were ready to start. And then suddenly it struck me that I had never baked the casserole. It was still in the fridge. And it was a deep psychic blow, can I say, that had happened to me. And it just took away all my sense of myself as an organized person and so on. And I started to cry. It wasn't like a tantrum or anything, but I just, walked and just started to cry. And then somebody pulled up a chair and told me to sit down. And I just sat there and cried. And from that time onward, the family, we had always openly discuss this, but we as a family sort of decided to have a special meeting just to talk about that. And of course, they wanted to know in which ways they could help me.
Mm. Well, I want you to know, and I'm sure many of our audience members listening can relate, because, losing my vision, I too have been there several times where I've had that moment of tears, almost silent tears. And then sometimes it's, out loud tears, but it is hard to see a part of you fade away, to see you not be able to, function at full cylinders, right? I know for me, I losing my sight, I have fallen, I have hit things with my head, and every time it just makes it that much more real. And that's very honest.
You put it absolutely in the words that I can identify, that you make it real in that moment. And you sort of are always aware that it's there, but when it comes out in such a visible public moment, and you feel it in your body, sort of how something inside you melts away.
Yeah. And I'm sure even today you still feel it,
I feel it all the time. I had a moment this past week. I'd ordered some insides for bolster cushions that had lovely covers, and I wanted to put the cushions inside. I ordered them on the internet, and they came, and the way they send the stuffed cushions is they suck out all the air out of the bag, so that it's a flat thing that arrives in a flat box in your mailbox. And so I started opening it, and out of the box, then the cushions were there sealed in a clear plastic bag, so I could see them. And I needed to cut open the bag, and I started cutting. And when I became aware of myself again, I cut about 4 inches into one of the pillows. Even though I could clearly see it, and I knew where the plastic was and where the cushion was and where it ended, but something in me did not see or was not aware, and I just cut it, it didn't ruin it. I was able to fix it. But at that time, I sort of just collapsed in the chair where I was. And after a while, my husband came, and I told him what I'd done. And, we spoke about it, and he knows now what to say. And he says something like, "I'm so sorry, you must be feeling awful that this happened." And that's really all I needed to hear. I couldn't reverse it. I couldn't make it better in future. But he just acknowledged my grief and my disappointment in that moment.
And sometimes it's just that power of acknowledging someone, which is all that we need. And Herta, I want you to stay with us because we have to go to a commercial break. But I really appreciate you sharing all of these stories with us and letting us know into your intimate world. So will you stay with us? And everybody, when we come back, we're going to be joined by Herta Saunders. We'll continue talking about her journey. And remember, it's all about the uncertainty of the future today, but yet staying strong as we go towards it. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey, but people in this town call me Maniac. They call me that because I'm the fastest runner in town. But just because everyone knows who I am doesn't mean I belong. I don't really belong anywhere. You see, I'm an orphan, and I wander the streets just looking for a place that I can truly call home. My name is Maniac McGee, and I'm all alone. Explore new worlds. Read my story in the novel Maniac McGee by Jerry Spinelli. For other great book ideas, visit your local library or log on to literacy.gov. Brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way. With just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is Nancy Solari, host of the Living Full Out Show. I am excited to let you know that we are now associated with Alexa. If you have Alexa in your house and you didn't know that, go ahead and find Living Full Out because you can hear us anytime you want, and we're there for you to keep you motivated. Go to your app store because we're located there as well. Just look for the Living Full Out radio show. It's important to us that we put out really inspiring programming, but we want to make sure that you have it at your fingertips when you need us most. We never know when those challenges are going to come, when we're going to feel lonely and need that motivation. So just know that when you need us, we're here for you. Check out Alexa, the app stores, or go to livingfullout.com. Here's to you living full out.
What if I could tell you that a full-blown wildfire was going to occur tomorrow, right where you live? Tell you exactly which neighborhoods it would engulf and how fast it would do it. The first thing you would do is talk with your loved ones and make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a wildfire will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you make a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a life coach, Nancy can teach you how to stay strong under pressure and work through challenges you face. Being legally blind, Nancy inspires others to be resilient in overcoming obstacles and live full out. You can ask Nancy for advice in your life on relationships, finance, business, health, and more. Just call in at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. Now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we're talking about being uncertain of the future. And, well, as scary as that may be and intimidating, we want to push forward. We want to relish in the memories that we have on a daily basis and strive for what we want in life. So we brought to you a very special inspirational guest today. Her name is Herta Saunders, and she is currently living with dementia. And so she deals with the uncertainty of her future with that condition. But at the same time, she makes the most of every day and every moment with her friends and her family. And that's really what Living Full Out is all about. So I'd very much like to welcome Herta back to the show.
Thank you, Nancy.
Absolutely. Now, Herta, we hear terms like dementia and Alzheimer's. Can you share with our community really what that is, those two conditions, or specifically yours?
Yes, certainly. The umbrella word for the later age memory loss and so on is dementia. And under dementia, you have different kinds of dementia. So Alzheimer's is one of the kinds of dementia. Parkinson's would be another. And then there's mine, which is cerebral microvascular disease, which means that tiny little vessels in my brain get clogged, and then it's like a little popping. It's not like a little tiny little stroke that kills the brain cells in that area. So on an MRI, you can see the dots of that my disease causes. So it almost doesn't matter, except for a few cases, what kind of dementia you have, because for Alzheimer's, there are some medications that are thought to slow down the process. And in microvascular disease, there is no treatment, but my doctor still gives me high blood pressure medication and anti-cholesterol medication, because that is supposed to keep one's blood vessels more open. With any one of those, all we know, and we are in the same boat in the sense that what's happening to everybody, though in different ways, is that we're gradually losing our memory, our sense of self, our ability to regulate our own lives. And for me, the most obvious and yet the most daily shocking thing about it is how it affects my sense of myself. You just feel that you're being carved away little by little.
Mm. Yeah, again, I get that. And you illustrated that so well in our last segment, sharing those stories. And, with dementia and all those different aspects that you shared with us just a minute ago, are there different stages where you might be more mild to more severe?
Yes, I think it all has to do with the other things that go on in my life. So if I don't sleep a proper night's sleep, or if I arrange too many things in a day, I get utterly confused, and being confused makes me very anxious. So my way to deal with it, I was thinking about the title of your show, Living Life to the Full, and ironically, I have to cut down my goals and aspirations for each day in order to live fully the things I have chosen to do. So, for example, today, I really I love more walking around the mall, and because I can't really get very lost there. And so I walk around there, and it's just for stretching my legs, for looking at the colors and the textures and everything. But I decided, my husband and I just decided that we're not going to do it, because we had a funeral this morning. Now I'm talking to you, and I know that soon after I end my call with you, I will feel completely and utterly exhausted, which means I will have to lie down, maybe have a nap. And so we've decided to cancel that visit, and we thought we could go and visit my daughter and her family for like a half an hour or an hour, sort of to make up for the disappointment of not going out. But so it's something that you have to manage it all the time. But then the things that I do, I enjoy to the brim. Like speaking with you is a wonderful thing. Going to the funeral, it's not something you really enjoy, but I was so grateful to be there for my friend whose father died. And it's so important to me that when I do something, I must be in it with my whole heart.
You know what? And that is how you live full out. And I hear you with sometimes that knowing your limits and really tapping into self-care is important. I know for me being, legally blind, my eyes get really tired. I try so hard to see. And sometimes I just have to call it a day and lay in bed, rest my eyes, because I just can't give anymore, and it kind of gives me a headache and so forth. So I'm with you on that front. And I know that this has been a journey for you in terms of those private moments, those moments that you cry or that you just kind of have that kind of jerk to the heart, 'cause you're like, that it might be getting worse. But you've also brought the journey into your family and discussing it together and being open. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that, because you give dementia less power over you when you take your power back and you make it this is how we're going to do it. And when you look at your future, we're talking today about the uncertainty of the future. You've actually made plans. Your family has talked it out. Can you share with us about that?
Yes, certainly. Our family we often see each other, and it usually involves a meal, but we've arranged special meals where what we do is talk about my future and the uncertainty. And of course, my children and Peter, my husband, and my grandchildren, they are also uncertain because they don't know how much care I'll need at certain stages. But in any case, after talking this through for many months, I expressed my wish that I wanted to die before I get so deep into the disease that I don't know what's going on around me. I don't want to get to a point in the disease where I scare my grandchildren or just get more daily care for more hours than the hours that I spend without care. And my family have agreed to help me take my own life when the time is ready. And we have set aside money to go to Europe as a family, to Switzerland, where I can do this legally, because I cannot anywhere in the United States obtain a planned self-death. So we've done that, and that has given me amazing calmness about it, that I know there is a time when my family will help me make the decision and will help me carry it through. And then because we don't really feel like we want to go to another country when somebody is old and dying, we have plan B, which is, I am saving up narcotics that doctors give out so royally. Even when you tell them you don't need them, they say, oh, just take it for in case. So all those in case narcotics that I have, I'm hoarding. So, and with my family's knowledge, and Peter keeps them for me because I promised I would not use them without discussing it with the family first. So all of those plans have made us much closer as a family. And even my grandkids can talk about this. Of course, at each age, they understand only a part of it, but they can speak about the part of it that's in their lives already at their ages.
Well, and thank you for sharing that with us, because the thing is we can't be scared of the future. And you're planning it out. You're writing your story. But you're not making dementia a tragedy. You're not making it this dark cloud. And actually, it's interesting. It's almost brought your family closer. I know with me, I turn to people for support all the time because they're my eyes to see things and to maybe walk me places. And you've turned to your family, and in some ways, I think that as a unit, you're in it together.
Absolutely. And I hear and see so many parallels with your situation, because whatever causes that dependence on other people is something that you have to learn to accept love. And very often, if you're an active person with lots of projects and in a good job, you are the one who goes in and supports people in their difficulties. And now you have to retreat and become the one who can accept love gracefully.
And maybe, just maybe, Herta, that is the recipe of life, right? Maybe you and I came out of the gate all career-minded, ready to roar, but maybe these are the life lessons that we and everybody listening today, it's not how fast you get there, it's how you gracefully stroll through life, right?
That is what I believe, and live every moment with love and with integrity. That's why I don't believe not telling my family the truth and not discuss, and they do the same for me. So with integrity, with truth and joy, I think every day can be wonderful for me for a long, long time.
I agree 100%. And thank you so much, Herta, for being on the show today. And we wish you all the best, and we'll keep praying for you, okay?
Thank you so much, Nancy. And I wish you the best and the listeners in their own challenges. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And everybody, it's all about the uncertainty of the future, but not being afraid. Going into the future with gusto and fight and that winning spirit, and knowing that life is worth living for. But do it on your terms. Write your own story, just like Herta has. We're going to be coming right back after this break. This is the Living Full Out Show. I'm Nancy Solari. Stay with us.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The following message is about Medicaid and CHIP, free or low-cost health coverage for kids and teens. Enrollment is open year-round.
Hey, voice lady, give me the mic.
Okay.
Hey, DJ, let's switch up the music. That's better. So listen up, moms and dads out there. There are these programs called Medicaid and CHIP. They offer free or low-cost health coverage for kids. Things like doctor and dentist visits, prescriptions, and shots are covered. All the stuff that keeps kids like me healthy and in charge.
So, as you can tell, a covered kid is a confident kid. And it means confident parents, too. To learn more about affordable health coverage for your family, visit healthcare.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. That's 1-877-543-7669.
Yep, you could do something big for your family today because enrollment is open year-round.
This has been a message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And Sophia.
They're going to jump out of trees. You can't stop them. They'll go down the slide head first. They'll make parachutes out of sheets. They'll balance on things that are impossible to balance on, like the back of a couch or a windowsill or a scooter seat. They'll run with sharp objects. They'll run into walls. They'll climb things that won't hold their weight. They'll put their fingers in places where they could get smashed. They'll drive their tricycles down steep hills. They'll bounce balls off their faces. They'll step on each other. They'll jump on each other. They'll invent whole new ways to put themselves in jeopardy. But one of the most dangerous things kids will do happens while they're sitting perfectly still. Kids who ride in a car without a booster seat are much more likely to suffer serious or fatal injury during a crash than kids in boosters. But amazingly, 80% of all kids who need them aren't in them. After a toddler seat and until they're 4'9", booster kids, and don't let them down.
Go to boosterseat.gov to learn more about the importance of boosters. A message from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on, and lost cats stick to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a Lost Cat Magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
We're your pets, and this song's dedicated to those people who don't have health insurance yet. Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll, we say. Take care, people, for goodness sake. take.
Health insurance is now affordable and covers prescriptions, hospitalizations, and preventive care. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn more.
And take care, people.
Brought to you by Get Covered America and the Ad Council.
When you're uncertain of the future and you're nervous to take that step, or you feel like you're spiraling out of control, you want to make sure that you turn to friends, family, even strangers to help anchor you, to give you the support that you need to go forward. Harness that passion and that spirit that you have inside you and go into your future with excitement, not fear.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. Nancy is here as a guide to show you how to rise above obstacles and savor each moment. If you have a question, call in live at 800-333-0001. That's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And today we've been talking about the uncertainty of the future. And sometimes we want to get to where we want to go so fast. We're trying to run, and it takes forever to get there. Or we feel as though we're being held back due to certain circumstances. And sometimes that can be scary because we think, gosh, there's all these things I want to achieve, and will they ever happen? Or will things in my life spiral and get worse? Well, you know what? Everything's possible. But it's your state of mind. It's being positive. It's choosing that you're not going to be fearful of the future, that you're going to keep taking those steps. And if you fall, somebody will be there to pick you up. Or you know what? That strength, that spirit inside you, you can stand up with confidence and be like, you know what? I've done this before. I've fallen. I've gotten back up. I'm going to keep going and just take that next step. And keep that visual in your mind. When you fall down, just get back up. And sometimes we need a hand to pull us up. Sometimes we might need to hold on to a counter to pull ourselves up. But there's always going to be something there to give you that ability. You just have to look for it. Now, I'm getting word from a producer that we have a caller on the line. We're going to go say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, Nancy. This is Shell. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you for calling in. How can we help you today?
You're welcome. Hi, I'm calling about my son. He's 27 years old, and he still lives at home. My husband and I both, we feel like he's at a point in his life where he should be out on his own, a little more independent. But whenever we bring it up to him, he seems as though he's open to it and he's willing and ready to do it. But then as time goes on, he's still here. For whatever reason, he finds a reason not to go. Financially, he's stable, so he can afford his own place. Living at home, we don't require him to pay any bills. Possibly that's part of the problem. But we just want him to get out on his own and enjoy the freedom that he's definitely he's owed. And we want him to start living an adult life. And we just don't know how to kind of get him motivated to do that.
You know, first of all, the interesting thing is sometimes in life, and I'm not saying this just about your situation, but I think everybody listening can raise their hand and say the same thing. Sometimes we know the answers. Like you just said a second ago, he pays no bills at home, and maybe that's part of the problem. So first of all, let's start there, because you want him to be empowered to pay for bills, to contribute to the house, whether that's contributing, whether he just hands you money and that gets dispersed, or whether you actually put a bill in his name. And you know what? If the electricity goes off and he doesn't pay it, do you think he's going to feel really good? No, he's not.
No.
It's embarrassing. I can't believe my parents are sitting in the dark like I did that. So maybe transferring something in his name so that he has that level of responsibility. I'd rather see you do that than just have him give you money. Because when the power goes off, there's going to be a gulp moment, right?
Right.
When the phones no longer work, when he goes to watch TV and the cable doesn't work, and don't save him. Okay? He's got to feel pain. Because you and I and everybody listening, we know that when we've lived on our own, we've felt pain. The need to earn the money, the need to pay the bills. You know, when you let a bill go by and you're like, oh, I'm late, right? He doesn't experience that. And so I want you to, consider that. There was a Cosby show a long time ago where the son in that show, they actually moved out all of his furniture. He had to rent a room. They had play money.
I remember that episode.
Remember that? Find that episode. Because I'm telling you, you're right, and you're living that moment right now. So that's another thing you can consider. And then the other thing is sometimes it's tough love, right? There might be a day when he comes back where boxes are starting to be packed. Either you pack them, you hire people to pack them. You can put on the box items in the closet. Items in top right shelf, right? But you're subtly making a move, okay? And we live in a time now where somebody can go get a room for rent a month in a moment's notice. True. So it isn't like this, right? So I believe all the answers are inside you. It's just, you're such a good mom, but you know what? You got to turn a new page. Okay?
Yeah, and you've given me some great food for thought, because I would have never thought, you're right, put a bill in his name. And you hear, we've always talked about giving us money.
I think if you do all that, you're going to be on track. And you're going to smile because you did it in the most loving but persistent way you could. And I really appreciate you calling in. And for everybody listening today, it's all about not being uncertain of the future, not being afraid of it, but being assertive. And saying, you know what, life, I'm going to do it on my terms, and this is how. So, thank you everybody for listening today. It's all about living full out. The entire family is here supporting you each week, and we look forward to talking to you. I believe in you. Here's to you living full out.
Thank you for listening to the Living Full Out Show with Nancy Solari. To learn more about this program, visit livingfullout.com for the latest episodes. Connect with the Living Full Out community by following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you have an inspirational story you want to share, email us at connect@livingfullout.com. Here's to you, living full out.